Yeah, the late goal, the point gained, it definitely felt like a win in the sense of, playing a really difficult opposition, amazing atmosphere, our fans were incredible, and to get something from the game, I thought we deserved something from the game. I think everybody that watched the game, wouldn't have begrudged us a point. For us, it's about moments now, and it's about the momentum that we take from that. I think, at this stage of the season, in my experience of MLS, it's about the moment that you've got, going into the big moments. It's about the momentum that you take and about the feel of the group and about, the confidence that you've got. And we play well in the Miami game. We gave them many problems and we, controlled them and didn't get so many problems from them. So disappointing to give the goal away, but definitely going into this game with confidence.
You lost a previous game, 5-1 to Philly. How did you get the team to respond the way that they did against Miami? Because although the Philly performance could be a little bit, odd because of the way that the chances that you had versus the chances that they had, it was still 5-1. But now you come back and you have a positive performance against Inter Miami.
Yeah, I think when you reflect and review the game from a higher perspective than emotion, you can see there's many positives in the Philly game. Crazy mistakes that are really out of character from us as a group in the sense of, Matt Freese, Thiago Mines have been our best players. So we did create chances that we didn't take, but there's positives in that. So, but emotionally, I think it's a huge marker of the group that we have. I think you can come off a 5-1 defeat at home against a local rival, and it's a test of the group that you've got, right? It's a test of the people that you are, the character that you have as a team, and the individual characters that you have in the group. And I say that about, front office, staff, and players. You come off a 5-1 defeat by Philly, and there's two ways that you can go. You can show a negative reaction and going into a Miami game that is going to be difficult, or you can show a positive reaction. And, I'm really proud of the group that we have and the group that we are, because to go into that Miami game in front of 45,000 people, and play so well and make sure that we didn't lose the game. And, I think we're the team that deserved to win the game. So, a point is positive. I think that can only be a huge positive for us as a group going into the last four.
Onto the Zoom, Michael.
Hey Nick, Mike Ander from Blue City Radio. Thank you for the time. There's a belief in sports that ultimately your identity is what your record tells you are. And you've talked a lot about process and the development of this team. But if you were to identify, how would you identify the team based on where their record is?
I would identify this team as a team that's made huge progress. I think it's a good marker of us as a group when we sat down in pre-season, and a good marker of us as people, right? We sat down in pre-season and said, what's the target, boys, between staff and players? And we set a pretty absurd target of top four. Remembering that we finished 11th last year and didn't make playoffs. And we now sit with 4 games to go, 3 points off top four. And there's been some ups and there's been some downs. And the ups have been incredibly exciting, and the downs have been, disappointing. But we sit in a place with 4 games to go where we have a huge opportunity against the team that's in 4th to go level points with 2 home games following that. And, for me, I'm proud of that, but I'm also really, really hungry to take that opportunity. And, when I reflect on my time here in MLS, I don't think many people gave us a chance in 2021. And I know for sure, because I was head coach, that nobody gave us a chance in 2022 coming out of that Cincinnati home game in Citi Field. So that gives me incredible confidence that we're going into this game with momentum, and I believe in everybody in that locker room.
Matt?
Hey, Coach, Matt Mangum, Hudson River Blue. Of course, no Santi or Shaheen this weekend with suspension. So how does that affect the offense and the defense with Bert Reese's injury against a good team like the New York Red Bulls? Thank you.
I've said all season, when we lost James Sands to 5 yellow cards, when we lost, Malachi and his injury, when we've had Andres Pereira go out with injury, there's two ways of looking at these issues, and it's to be down and disappointed that you lose a really important guy like Santi Rodriguez in the offense, like Strahinja Tanazlievich in the defense, or you can look at it as a huge opportunity for another guy that has been, really hungry and really driven and dedicated to making sure he's ready and wanting to get in the team. And, I look across the bench, the Miami game, the bench came in, Munsef came in and really improved us. Micha Ilinic came in and really improved us. And we've had many of those moments this year where, we've lost a guy to suspension or injury and the next guy has came and took his opportunity. And, I fully believe in every guy in the locker room, and whoever I select to replace one of those two guys is going to be incredibly motivated to take his opportunity.
Chris?
Hey, Coach. Chris Campbell from the outfield. I'm just wondering if you can give us an injury update, Burke Risa, and any other concerns. And additionally, there were reports, earlier in the year that Malachi Jones is hopeful to return at the end of the season. Just wondering if you can shed some light on that. Thank you.
Well, we're fully fit in the sense of the only player that we have out injured is Malachi. Obviously, we have the two guys to suspension, but injury-wise, everybody's fit. Burke has trained all week, so that's really positive knowing that Tane wasn't unavailable. You are correct. Malachi is incredibly hopeful that he's going to return, and so are we. He's working incredibly hard. His mentality to return to the team and contribute to either the end of the season or the post-season is something that he has said straight off the injury. It's a possibility, but we also have to go through the process, and with the doctors and with the medical team and the performance team, we'll make sure that we tick every box before he does return, because it was a difficult injury for him. But he's out on the grass, he's running, he's really pushing hard, and that is a huge positive for us.
Oliver?
Hi, thank you. This is Oliver Strand with Hudson River Blue. So this team has really stepped up in big games and shut down big oppositions, not just Miami, but also Benteke and DC United. At the same time, this team has fallen asleep a little bit against teams that on paper they should beat, thinking Chicago, Colorado. Number one, how do you get the big game mentality for every game, this team? And number two, where would you put Red Bulls? Are they more like a Colorado or like a Miami?
Yeah, I think the nature of MLS is, if I look across my tenure here, you have one or two teams, three teams maybe this year that are really consistent, and they normally get those top spots and fight for Supporter Shield. And then you get a group of teams in the middle that are inconsistent, streaky, have good runs and have ups and downs. And then you get some teams down the bottom that are fairly inconsistent and can't push for the line. And I would put us in that middle bracket. We strive to be in that top two, top three. That is the aim for our football club. That is the aim for this group, is to be a team that can play week in, week out, home and away, against whoever we play, cross-conference, to be able to put together real consistency. But that's a process. That is a process that this team is going through, and we're probably maybe 10 months, 12 months into that. If you look at the additions of Bert Risa, Julian Fernandez, Munsef Bakara, and so on through the transfer window at the start of this year. But I'll say again, we set a target of top four in pre-season, and after finishing 11th, that shows the ambition and the hunger and the desire to deliver for our fans and for our football club. The expectation is high, and we embrace that. So consistency is what's going to improve us as a football club. Now, if you look at Red Bull, our results are exactly the same over the last 6 games. They mirror each other. So I would put them in the same bracket as us, and I'm sure they would confirm that. For every team in MLS, at the start of the year, Supporter Shield is something that everybody wants to win. So for us, consistency is something that we strive for and something that we work for every day.
Final one, Christian?
Hi, Coach. You were very complimentary about the fans last week against Miami. I'm curious what that experience has just done for the mood of the camp this week, heading into this big game at the weekend.
Yeah, I said post-game, I think, our fans were incredible in the Miami game. I think that's the first time across MLS I've saw a capacity crowd where 90% of it wears the colours of the team that is playing at home, and I'm really proud of that. There was blue shirts everywhere, and when I speak to our players and I speak to them post game, that was a huge factor in fighting and continuing to push, and having the hunger and the desire to get something was, of course, for our league position and for our push for postseason, but it was all for our fans. When they are behind us and when they are vocal and when the atmosphere is as electric as it was, the tifo is the start of it, really inspired us at the start, and they sung over the Messi song, they pushed us to the end. That is more important to us than anything, and a byproduct of that is that we win and we can get in postseason, but everything we do is for our fans.
Great. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Stopped.
Thank you.